বেটা এইটো লাগাই যে নিব পাৰিবি এইটো হুলস্থুলবোৰ বন্ধ কৰাচোন অকণমান Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. So we have to start a new lesson today. Today we are going to discuss Salman Rushdie's short story, The Free Radio. Perhaps we know a bit about Salman Rushdie. Have you heard his name or got anything about him? Anybody? Do any of you know anything about Salman Rushdie?
No, sir.
I have some trouble keeping my video on. That means I'm trying, but it is not working. Whatever, we have to talk about a bit of Salman Rushdie and then start the text. That Rushdie is one of the most resourceful, vital, and strong voice of 20th century. In the world of literature, he is a very powerful voice. He is a powerful voice in the world of writing from the countries of the Commonwealth, and to more particularize, from India. Recently he is residing in UK, United Kingdom. Originally he is from India, and he is a very dominant writer of the post-colonial world. That means whenever we talk of post-colonial writings, Indian writings in English, Commonwealth writings, 20th century writers, we find Salman Rushdie's name. He is the winner of Booker prizes. Okay, although he has not been able to bag the Nobel Prize till now, and we hope that he will get it. But the next prize, which is notable below the Nobel Prize, is the Booker Prize, and his novel Midnight Children bagged the Booker Prize, and it also bagged the Booker prizes. Okay, that means whenever the Booker award giving committee wanted to declare a Booker on the celebration of 25 years of its award giving. Okay, that means whenever the Booker committee wanted to award a writer on the completion of 25 years silver jubilee, then among the 25 Booker winners, Salman Rushdie topped the list. That means his Midnight Children is among the top, that means is the topmost one of the 25 Booker winning novels given by the Booker Prize committee. And in the world of literature, we normally talk of the three most important awards. First is the Nobel Prize, the second is the Booker Prize, and the third is the Pulitzer Prize. Okay, Now he has been able to bag the Booker Prize. That is a great honor to him, to the Indian subcontinent, to the Commonwealth countries, and to the post-colonial writers as well. Now, he was born on 19 August 1947, just 4 days after the independence of India. And Midnight Children, that particular novel, talks about a situation of the midnight of independence. Midnight children, the children who were born on the midnight of 14 August. Okay, that means whenever India got divided into Pakistan and India, and on that midnight the independence had been declared for the two countries. Okay, just prior to 12, it was Pakistan who had been declared to be independent, and after 12 India had been declared to be independent. So we celebrate it on 15th. Okay, that means on the 14th midnight it happened, that historic event happened, and internationally it falls, that means the declaration of India falls on 15, just after 12, as it struck 12. And Rushdie wanted to present a very historical, magically realistic moment of 14th August 1947. Okay, got disconnected, reconnected again. So Rushdie wanted to present the situation of 14th August midnight 1947. He, in that particular novel, presented that 1000 children born on that particular midnight were born with certain extraordinary powers. They had the telepathic power. They could talk to each other, being in a distant place also. They could talk with the others. They had the communication with the mind. Okay, telepathic. So the telepathic power they had, one could communicate. One child born in Northeast could communicate with a child born in West India. Okay, so on that particular night, he presented such a view that these thousands children born on that midnight of independence, born with some extraordinary powers, could change the whole lot of India. And through these people, through these 1000 children, he wanted to look at the post-colonial India, what is going on in India, that what we had thought of on the midnight of 14 August 1947, whenever Pakistan and India were declared to be independent, what we had hoped and what we have got, what we have seen in the post-colonial India, that means in the independent India, the promises that had been given and the things that we have seen in the independent India, the development that had been talked of, the kind of harmony that had been talked of. Okay, a truly free India, but that has been lost. We have lost the connection also. Okay, that has been lost. And In that particular novel, he presented that situation. Okay. Now, he is also a very powerful voice in post-colonial theory. That what are the feelings of a person who has to leave his home here meaning the country, homeland. Okay, so he is a person who has to leave his country, particularly for a work called satanic verses. Satanic verses, verses which are satanic, not godly. We talk of the good teachings of the shastras, scriptures, religious books. But in his work, Satanic Verses, he had been critically presenting the Islamic teachings. Okay, so he earned the anger of the Muslim organizations. Okay, that he himself is a Muslim, but he was trying to show the bad things which are in the practice of the Islamic society, and he was trying to talk about this. He was trying to critically present these things in his work and the Satanic Verses, and as a result, he earned the anger of the Islamic societies. The highest sort of anger that he earned is the fatwa of death sentence. Okay, the Islamic society announced a death sentence on him, that whenever and wherever he is found, he is to be shot dead, he is to be killed. Okay, because they could not accept those notions presented by him, and as a result, he had to fly from India to England for safety, and that is how he came to reside in England. Now, this condition, which is popularly known as a diasporic condition in the critical theories, has led him to interrogate the whole issue of this. Okay, the problems of the diasporic writers. Problems of the diasporic writers. Okay, I have got disconnected time and again. So his diasporic situation has urged him to talk about these diasporic situations. Okay, the problems of the diasporic writers, and he did it not only in his critical creative works but also in the critical writings. He has a very powerful work on this called the Imaginary Homelands. Okay, a book on critical theories. Imaginary homelands. Where is your home? How can you talk about the homeland? Okay, home culture, homeland, the people in the homeland, the relatives in the homeland, and his feelings being in a different country, the problems of coping with the society that he has migrated to. All these things are in critical discussion in his works, and Imaginary Homeland is a very strong book on these issues. Okay, so he is a fiction writer basically, who writes novels as well as short stories, and he is also a critical writer who talks about the critical situations of the diasporic writers. Okay, now you have a short story to read from him. This has been titled The Free Radio. It particularly refers to one government scheme, that is the scheme of free radio announced by the government of India in the 1960s as a measure for controlling controlling population. That means the people who kept their population at check. Okay, gave birth to one child or two only. They had been covered under the scheme of the free radio. They would be given a free radio. That means a radio free by the government. Okay, so that was one movement taken by the government. But he is trying to look at the critical issues of this government scheme. Let us discuss the short story that we have to go through. The free radio. Let me read it. You also consult your own books. We all know nothing good would happen to him, while the thief's widow had her claws dug into his flesh. But the boy was an innocent, a real donkey's child. You can't teach such people. We shall shortly know that this is being said by a teacher, an observer. There are different narrative methods of telling a story. It may be the short story or the novel. That the first person may be speaking, that means I. The third person may be referred to, that means you may have a description of a person as he, she, they, etc. And you may depute one speaker, one narrator for a whole work. Okay, the short story writer is the writer. He may not be the narrator. Okay, he may engage another person to narrate the story. Okay, and here Rushdie has deputed a teacher to narrate the story, as if Rushdie is quoting the whole thing which the teacher is saying. Okay, so the teacher explains this, describes this, narrates this. We all know nothing good would happen to him. One particular person is being referred to. The teacher is referring to one person, while the thief's widow had her claws dug into his flesh. The widow of the thief had put her claws into the flesh of this person. Immediately, three persons are being referred to. There is one narrator. That narrator is narrating the story of a person who is being referred to as he at this moment. And the third person, thief's widow, widow of the thief, a lady who has lost the husband, who was a thief, the wife of the late thief. That this wife of the late thief has now put her claws into the flesh of the third person who is being referred to as he. That means she has now have him under her control. But the boy was an innocent. That third person who is being referred to as he, that boy, was an innocent, a real donkey's child. Donkey's a child. Okay, donkey, the S is known for its stupidity. So this boy was also a stupid one, innocent one. Okay, and the widow of the thief had now had him under her control. That means the boy is being exploited. The boy is being looted. Okay, the boy was innocent, and the lady now tried keeping him under control and exploiting him from the money. You can't teach such people. That means the teacher says that the boy is already under the control of the lady. Okay, she has actually caught him within her net. So you can't teach such people. These people are incorrigible, that cannot be corrected. Okay, you fail to teach these people, you fail to motivate these people to the good things. That boy could have a good life. God had blessed him with such, with God's own looks. Okay, this boy could have a good life. That means now he is not leading a good life. He is developing an affair with the wife of the thief, late thief. But he could have, if he wanted, have a very good life. God had blessed him with God's own looks. All the time we visualize God to be very beautiful. Okay, so this boy was also a beautiful one, God's own looks. And his father had gone to the grave for him, but didn't he leave a brand new first class rickshaw cycle rickshaw with plastic covered seats and all? That this boy's father had gone to the grave. This boy's father died, but before he died, he had given this boy a first class cycle rickshaw, a good cycle rickshaw. Okay, that this boy is also now fatherless, but he is the owner of a brand new cycle rickshaw. This was a gift from the father. His father had given him this particular rickshaw cycle before his death. So the narrator's viewpoint is that this particular boy could have prospered in life with this first class cycle rickshaw. So looks he had, his own trade he had, looks he had good looks, that is, his own trade he had his own trade, that means pulling the rickshaw. There would have been a good wife in time. So he has already two things in store, two good things he has. One is the good look, and the other is a good profession. He is the owner of a brand new cycle rickshaw, so he could have a profession. His father had been a rickshaw puller, and now he has left a good cycle for the son. So he has his profession also. So with the progress of time, he would also get a good wife. That was the possibility. He should just have taken out some years to save some rupees. So to get a good wife, he just had to save some money. But no, he must fall for a thief's widow before the hairs had to come out of his chin. But this boy was so innocent, so stupid, so ignorant, that he had fallen into the net of the thief's widow before hairs had come out of his chin. Okay, he had not, uh, the hair had not grown on his chin. He was yet to have a beard, and yet he had fallen into the net of the thief's widow. That means he was a very young boy. Okay, he was not a youth at this moment. He has not matured in age. Before his milk teeth had split, one might say. That means he has just crossed the time of his milk teeth. Okay, it is almost the time that he has crossed the time of his milk teeth. Milk teeth are temporary teeth which goes out, and then the permanent teeth come. Okay, so he's a very young boy, and there was yet more years to pass before he could get a wife. But unluckily, the thief's wife had got him under her control, under her net. We felt bad for him, but who listens to the wisdom of the old today? Okay, who listens to the wisdom of the old today? That means this particular narrator felt bad for the boy, felt sorry for the boy, that he has lost his track, good track. But who listens to the wisdom of the old today? That means he is not going to listen to my talk, to my advice, to my suggestions, because nobody really pays any attention to the suggestions or the teachings of the old people, and I am an old people, old person. Okay, I say, who listens? Exactly, nobody. Certainly not a stonehead like Ramani, the rickshaw. So we now come to know the name of the particular boy that is being referred to. That his name was Ramani. He's a rickshaw puller or rickshawala, and his name is Ramani, and he does not listen to a poor person like an old person like me. This is the trend. Okay, young people normally would not like to act according to the suggestions of the old people. They may respect, but they really may not act. I saw it but I blame the widow. See, that he is not listening, but particularly this is not his fault, because he is stupid, he is innocent, he is ignorant. I blame the widow only because she is experienced, she is elder, she is adult, and it is the doing of the widow. Okay, so I blame the widow. I saw it happen. You know, I saw most of it until I couldn't stand anymore. I sat under this very banyan, smoking this self-same hookah, and not much escaped my notice. That I blame the widow, not Ramani the rickshawala, because I saw this happening. I saw the whole event, how Ramani had been blackmailed by this widow. Okay, so as I saw the whole incident, I do not blame Ramani, I blame the widow. I saw the whole thing from the shade of the banyan tree under which I am at this moment taking my hookah, smoking my hookah. And at one time I tried to save him from his fate, but it was no go. So I tried to save this boy. I tried to save this boy from the clutches of the widow, but that was of no avail. That was of no fruit. It did not work. I tried my best to save him, but I could not save him. The widow was certainly attractive, no point in denying. Okay, the widow was also good looking, and that may be one of the reasons why this boy got attracted. The widow was certainly attractive, no point in denying. In a sort of hard, vicious way, she was all right, but it is her mentality that was rotten. That physically she was a very beautiful lady, but her mentality was a rotten one, not a good one. Okay, so her mentality was rotten, not beautiful. 10 years older than Ramani, she must have been. So, she must have been 10 years older to Ramani, the rickshawala. The rickshawala was a young boy, and this widow of the thief was at least 10 years older. 5 children alive. She had 5 children and 2 dead. 2 died. That means she had in all 7 children. She is the mother of 7 children. And now she has got attached to this young boy. So certainly she must have been at least 10 years older to Ramani. What that thief did besides robbing and making babies, God only knows. So this is a sarcastic comment on the thief. That thief could do, number 1, robbing, thieving, that is. Number 2, making babies, be the father of more and more children. 7 children were given birth to. So apart from this, that what that thief could do, nobody knows. Okay, but he left her not one new paisa. So of course she would be interested in Ramani. So that thief could steal things and be the father of more and more children. Apart from it, he could not do anything. That means he could not save money. And whenever he died, he did not leave a new paisa for the wife and the children. Okay, he could not save money, and as a result he could not leave any money for the family whenever he died. And as a result of this, the widow of the thief had to be interested in Ramani, because Ramani is a rickshaw puller. He earns money. So if she can develop a relationship with Ramani, she would be getting money from Ramani to support the family. Okay, I am not saying our rickshawala makes much in this town, but 2 mouthfuls are better to eat than wind. Okay, the narrator again says that the profession of the rickshawala would not give much money to the rickshawala in this particular town, but he would be able to earn the 2 meals. Okay, he would not go in hunger. He would not have to live in hunger. He will at least earn that much money which will be necessary for the 2 meals of the day. So that much money he would be able to earn. So he says that although a rickshawala would not be able to earn much money, he would earn that much money which is necessary for the day-to-day life. Okay, for the 2 mouthfuls, that means 2 meals. And not many people will look twice at the widow of a good for nothing. Okay, otherwise she will not have any money. That means Ramani had been netted by the widow for this money. They met right here. That means they met right under the banyan tree. So he is describing, that is, this narrator is describing that particular situation when this lady had met Ramani under the banyan tree and had motivated him for developing a relationship with her. One day, that particular situation when Ramani met that wife of the thief, widow of the thief, better say. One day, Ramani rode into town without a passenger, but grinning as usual if someone had given him a 10 cheap tip, singing some playback music from the radio, his hair greased like a wedding. So one particular day when there was no passenger and he was grinning, he was complaining within in his talk about this scarcity of passengers, and he was listening to the playback music of a radio. He was not such a fool that he did not know how girls watched him all the time and passed remarks about his long well muscled legs. He also remembered that he had been praised by the guards for the muscled legs and for the beauty that he had. Okay, he remembered those things and he was trying to pass the time that way. The thief's widow had gone to the bania ship to buy some 3 grains of dal, and I won't say where the money came from, but people saw man at night near her Rajputi sect. Even the bania himself, they were telling me, but I personally will not comment. Okay, that particular widow had gone to the shop of the bania. Bania means a trader. You can say here the Mahajan. Okay, the village Mahajan who owns a big shop where all kinds of necessities in the village are found. And whenever the villagers need some loan, he will provide it at high interest. Okay, and this particular widow visited the bania shop with some money to buy some dal, some necessities, okay, daily necessities. And there is a sarcastic comment from the narrator that I do not know how money came to her. How did she earn money? But there is an indication that people saw other people near her house. That means she became a prostitute and she earned money that way. Even the bania had visited her during the night. So that was her profession. She needed money to run her family, to run the family of 5 children and she herself. Okay, so to run the life of these 6 people, she had to take that profession. Say that way, this is a comment on the overpopulation of India. That means most of the families, they have to suffer because of the um, explosion in the number of birth. Okay, so this is an indication. So this particular widow had to take that sort of profession because she had to run this family, and the thief had not left her any money. She had to take this profession. She had all her 5 brats with her, and then and there, cool as a fan, she called out, "Hey, rickshaw!" Loud, like a truly cheap type. Okay, so at this moment, this lady was going to the bania shop, and she had her 5 brats, 5 children. The 5 children were with her at this moment, and she, in a very cheap way, common people way, she called out, "Hey, rickshaw!" That means she was calling to Ramani, showing us she can afford to ride in rickshaws as if anyone was interested. Okay? She called the rickshaw in such a way, in such a tone, as if she was able to pay the money which is necessary to pay to the rickshaw puller for carrying them. She called the rickshaw in such a tone. She wanted to draw the attention of all the people who were waiting there. The narrator himself was waiting there under the banyan tree. Her children must have gone hungry to pay for the ride, but in my opinion, it was an investment for her. You see, that she did not have that much money which she could pay for the rickshaw ride because her children might have been hungry. She should have better purchase some food for the children. But the narrator comments that going on the ride was an investment for her. That means by riding on the rickshaw of Ramani, she was not wasting her money. Although to the people it may seem to be a luxury, because she was a very very poor lady who had to run her livelihood life by selling her body. So to be on the rickshaw ride was seen to be a sort of luxury. But the narrator comments that to her it was not a luxury, it was an investment, because she would get Ramani to her side, and Ramani would be later on providing the money. Okay. Okay. Showing us she can afford to ride in rickshaws as if anyone was interested. Her children must have gone hungry to pay for the ride. That by paying for the ride, rickshaw ride, she would keep the children hungry. But in my opinion, it was an investment for her, because must she be had this must because must be she had decided already to put her hooks on into Ramani. She wanted to hook Ramani into her life. Okay, as if she was trying to hook Ramani, and she has got a chance. So they all poured into the rickshaw, and he took her away. And with 5 kiddies as well as the widow, there was quite a wait. So he was puffing hard, and the veins were standing out on his legs. You see, the rickshaw had been called. The widow, with all 5 children of her, got onto the rickshaw, and as a result, Ramani had to carry the 6 people on his rickshaw, and it was a heavy duty for him. Okay, so this turns out to be a sort of image. Okay, very significant thing, very significant image, because he would have to drag the life of these 6 people. Okay, this becomes a sort of image, symbol. And as this was a great load, his veins were standing out on his legs. The strength that he had to use, the power, the energy that he had to use here to pull all these 6 people was visible on the veins of the legs. And I thought, careful, my son, or you will have this burden to pull for all your life. This narrator, it means that this narrator was a person who could see into the future, introspective, experienced, and in my mind, this narrator is saying, in my mind I said, I prayed, boy, calm down, otherwise you will have to pull this whole load throughout all your life. But after that, Ramani and the thief's widow were seen everywhere, shamelessly, in public places, and I was glad his mother was dead, because if she had lived to see this, her face would have fallen off from shame. Okay, that was the particular beginning event when Ramani had been called by the widow, and all the 5 children and the widow herself had got onto the rickshaw of the rickshaw puller Ramani, and Ramani had to take them into the town. After that, Ramani and the widow were seen in many places, here and there, in public places. That means this lady would got onto the rickshaw of the rickshaw puller Ramani time and again. They developed a sort of relationship. And the narrator says then that the mother of the rickshaw puller had already died. That was a good thing, because otherwise she would have felt very much disturbed in the mind. Okay. Sometimes in those days, Ramani came into this street in the evenings to meet some friends, and they thought they were very smart because they would go into the back room of Irani's canteen and drink illegal liquor. Only, of course, everybody knew, but who would do anything if boys ruined their lives, let their relations worry? See, Ramani had been hooked by the widow. Apart from it, Ramani was found to come to the backside of Irani's canteen with some other boys, and he would drink illegal liquor with those boys. And here also the indication is that Ramani was not only tricked by the widow for his money, but also by the other boys. The boys would take him to the backside of Irani's canteen, and there they would take the illegal liquor, but Ramani would have to pay. Okay, so through this fact, the narrator wanted to point out that Ramani was a real stupid. He did not know how to save himself. He was time and again cheated by the people. On the one hand, there is the widow of the thief. On the other hand, his friends, childhood friends. Okay, so there are some other things. He has developed a relationship or a sort of affair with the widow's wife. On the other hand, he has also taken to drinking. It means that he was not really happy with the development between him and the widow's wife. And then the other friends of his age group took him to the backside of Irani's canteen. Okay, people most of the time when disturbed in life, they take to drinking, and Ramani also took to drinking. So this is an indication that he was not happy with the kind of life that he was living. Okay, we have to stop here today. Shall continue with the discussion of the story in the next class as well. Okay, please go through the story, because if you complete reading the story before our discussion in the class, you shall understand it better. Okay, with these words, I would like to end this session here today. If you have any query, please put in short. Any queries?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, then we end the session here today. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
sir.
Thank you all.